Hello!
Hey, Olivia.
Hey, we actually have some viewers. I wasn't sure if, because we kind of did this all last minute, if we'd have them. So I'm happy to see that. So tell us where you're joining us from. We love to hear from you guys. So let us know where you're joining us from. My other favorite question: have you done the experiment before, or is this your first time? We would love to hear from you. So put that in your comments. All right,
I want to hear what your favorite activity was.
Oh yes, we love hearing all of those things. If you hang out with Camille and I much, you know those are our three questions. So if you don't get a chance to answer them right now, be sure to join us tonight for the after party because we'll talk about it some more. So Camille, do you want to introduce? We've had a few changes in the last little while, but we're really excited about them. Like you guys are in for a treat today.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. We are going to be joined by Tyler and Wendy from Rootstech and Family Search, and they're going to give us the 411 on Rootstech. We might even get a little sneak peek or heads up on something we can be doing, and we're going to have a little chit chat about something we can do going forward. So
awesome. And Wendy's going to impart some wisdom upon us, I'm sure of it, because she's full of wisdom. So let's bring them on. Welcome, Tyler, and welcome, Wendy. I'm going to take that banner off and
I want to hide behind it.
Although that's good. Kind of interesting.
Thanks so much for having us, you guys. How fun.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited to chat with both of you. You guys just make my life so exciting. There's nothing more exciting than getting an email from Tyler or Wendy. It's like you get immediately excited, right? Am I right, Camille?
Right? Yeah. I don't know if I've gotten an email from Tyler, but definitely from Wendy.
Okay, well, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah,
maybe
start
tomorrow.
emailing me.
I'll send your email to him real fast so he can.
So good to see you guys. It's so good.
Yeah, and guys, I have to just say, like, on behalf of Family Search and Rootstech and everybody that has been big supporters of you and your team, this project is amazing. And congratulations, it's the last day. So, we can't wait to hear people's experience, but just know that, Family Search and Rootstech, like, we're here to just say, way to go. Great job.
Thank you, you guys. It has been so fun. It's like bittersweet to get to the end because you're so tired from like trying to keep up with everything and make sure everyone has everything. But you're so sad because it's so much fun connecting in these ways. Like the connections are so powerful, and so it's hard to. It's hard to.
You guys have been so good.
Brandon. Brandon's awesome too. Tell him he can sit down too if he wants.
All right.
Okay, so Tyler, I want to hear all about some of kind of the fun things that we can. Well, let's talk about Rootstech. What is Rootstech? Some of our viewers probably don't actually know what Rootstech is.
Yeah, no. Well, 6 months ago, before everything was gone online, Rootstech was a family history conference that happened every year here in Salt Lake City, and we did one in London as well. And so it was a big event where everyone was come together and do what you've been doing over the last 20 days, right? Connect, share memories, learn more about how to do all of that stuff and the tools and the resources available. We had keynote speakers. We had a big expo hall. It was a ton of fun, right? But then this thing called COVID hit, and we have been completely remote. And so a large gathering like that is, not possible nor safe these days. And so we have decided to make our event next year that would have been held at the Salt Palace in downtown Salt Lake City, a free online event. And so we are so excited for Rootstech Connect. We're calling it Rootstech Connect, similar to what you've been doing here. And it's going to be a free 3-day live event at the end of February 25th through the 27th. So if you have any interest in keeping the skills that you've gained over the last 20 days here or learning more, Rootstech is an awesome place to come, learn, join from the safety of your home, and have a ton of fun.
I'm going to throw up that banner so they know where to go. Go ahead, Wendy. Sorry.
I was just going to say, and you guys have to know that the Rootstech team is known for just how fun they are. And they're like the cool kids. And do you remember, Tyler, a year ago, what we did to your...
Oh, yes. I still have... There's still like... They put little bats for Halloween all over my cubicle.
That's awesome.
All bird.
We decorated his coop.
Yeah.
We decorated it, and because the Rootstech team is always doing really fun things, and so you guys need to know the people behind the scenes that are part of this. They're like the cool kids, and they do fun, cool stuff. So join the cool kids. I want to. That's why I'm here today.
Well, and it's true. Like, as Tyler was talking, I was thinking to myself, like, Rootstech's what created me. Honestly, like, what gave me my passion. I remember I was in Virginia and I was working in a family history center and I knew nothing about family history. So I Googled it and found Rootstech videos and I fell in love with Rootstech. So when I moved to Utah, it was like every year I'm there.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Totally.
I saw you on Twitter for years tweeting about stuff and I'm like, who is this Olivia? That's awesome. I didn't know that was your story.
That's my story. So I just love Rootstech. Like it's fun. Like the only way I could describe like what you experience, and I know the Rootstech team, even though it's virtual, I was devastated when I first heard. Like honestly, I was like,
me too.
But even just watching your guys' intro with Wendy a few months or like in September, I went, this is gonna be awesome. Somehow the Rootstech team magically pulls it off every year. They just make it amazing. So sorry to put that pressure on you, Tyler, but I already know it's going to be.
Oh, it's cool. And it's not just us. We have a whole team of awesome people here in Family Search and outside in the industry really trying to help pull this off. And so we recognize, right, it's only going to be cool and awesome if it's beneficial for people like you and other companies in this space. And so we're trying to work collaboratively to make something new.
Awesome.
Well, I'm excited because I've only officially been to 2 Rootstechs down in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
And those ones in between were all virtually because I'm a mom and my husband was working. I couldn't get away to go down. And so that's why I'm really excited is that other busy people that can't take a weekend off to go down there to Salt Lake, can't fly in, they're going to get this opportunity to take these classes and to learn and to be a part of this community.
Right. And not even just in the US, right, or Utah, but internationally. This is the first time where we'll actually have content on Rootstech in multiple languages and our website in different languages, right? And that's been a huge thing to figure out. But it's cool to see, over 130,000 people have already signed up for this event from 175 different countries. I don't even know how many countries there are in the world, but that's a lot of them, right? So it's just been cool to see the international, interest in discovering our family and connecting with our past, and that's what we're really hoping. This Rootstech should feel different because it'll have more international, more culture flavor than ever before.
Invite all of your friends, right? Like invite everyone. Maybe you've attended in person, but have watch parties. Like get some Rootstech snacks. Tara Lynn's talking about what she did for Rootstech London, but like Tyler said, it's going to be so cool and different because the cool kids are putting it on. But bring people together to share the experience.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I popped that up right as you started talking, but like Marcel, he has been to all of ours and he's up in Canada. I love having
Marcel, welcome.
And he always I feel like, well, I don't even know. Marcel, tell us in the comments how you found out about the experiment because this is your first time. Like, tell us how, and tell us if you're going to join us at Rootstech because I would love to hear that. So those of you who are watching, tell us in the comments if you've attended Rootstech before, what your experience was, and if you haven't, confirm that you're going to sign up because you're going to love it. There's no question. So what are some fun things that you're going to do new? Are there any kind of, I know there's a couple. So what are kind of some of the ways to connect?
So let me tell you 2 things. One, we recognize that an online event, it's hard to sit in front of your computer or your TV all day. So we're doing our best to make it so you're not just going to watch an hour presentation and fall asleep, right? We're not taking what we've done at Rootstech in the past and putting it online. We're trying to reimagine learning, and learning online is quick and it's engaging and it's exciting. And so presentations and content is going to be packaged a lot quicker, maybe even sometimes as short as just 3-minute video on how to do a certain tip, right? And how to find your family in this way, or how to learn more about your surname in 3 minutes. That kind of thing, along with opportunities to message, to talk with other people in groups about themes you're interested in, right? I mean, if it's teaching your kids family history, we could have a chat group for that, or our users could create chat groups around these topics and really engage with each other all around the world. So those are two things we're doing that are going to be really fun.
Oh, I'm excited for that. I loved that when I was at Rootstech, I could sit next to someone and know that I could turn to them and just start a conversation because they had something in common with me. So I love that you guys are doing those groups. That is awesome.
And Tyler, is there any little insider tidbits that you can, I don't know any, but I tell us about the actual main stage experience, because I think that's cool, because you talk about the learning and the classes, but you guys are doing some really cool stuff with the main stage.
I can't wait for, if you guys are really interested, make sure you follow Rootstech on social media, because in the next few weeks, we do have some big announcements coming about who our keynote speakers are going to be. And we're calling it main stage at Rootstech, just like you were in a physical event. You'd come in and there will be content going on the main stage, so wherever you are in the world, whenever you're waking up or able to tune in, we're trying to program this so that there's content available for you that's local to your area, to your language, to your interests. And we have speakers coming from all over the world. I can't share any of the names yet, but very few of them from Utah, right, or the United States even, but people from Europe, a couple from Australia, South America. We're just so excited to see this wide range of speakers in different languages and topics, and so that's going to be really fun. We're also going to do a fun song contest. I know we mentioned this a couple weeks ago, and in a few weeks we're going to announce it. So if you're a songwriter or someone who is, there's going to be some really cool things going around writing songs about how you connect to your family.
One of the things I love about Rootstech is that they do such a good job of bringing in those, that perspective part of family history. Like, it is a family history conference, it's a genealogy tech conference, right? But I love that cake boss year and music. This is family history connecting through these different channels that you don't normally think. So I'm so excited for that. I think our team, Camille, should do a music video.
Yes.
You're sounding like Michelle and her videos.
yes, videos. I think it'd be awesome.
The song, Olivia, and you sing, and we will do a music video for you.
And Suzanne is talking about kind of the overwhelm that a lot of people experience, even if it's their first time attending in person or starting out. And there's going to be some specific, I don't know if they're called getting started, but there's going to be some tracks, some content tracks. And so Suzanne, there will be very specific ones, getting started in family history using Family Search, and there'll be one all about story and kind of photos and memories, and then one about connecting. And those are just like the getting started tracks. So people are working really hard to create these experiences where if you start here, then you go here and here. So look for opportunities to not be overwhelmed following the recommended tracks. But Suzanne, I completely understand. It can be so overwhelming. And
even as Tyler's talking about it, I was like, it overwhelms me for them. How are we going to coordinate all of this?
Right. But here's the cool thing with it being online is, you in years past, you'd leave Rootstech and you'd be like, man, I only got 10% of everything there and now it's over. Right. But with everything online, it's all recorded. It'll all be there and available for you on demand whenever you can get to it. So if it takes you a couple months to get through all the content, great. We're going to have a couple 100 videos and classes. So we don't expect you all to watch them all that weekend. Right. But enjoy the content throughout the year and come back and learn more. So hopefully it doesn't feel too overwhelming and you have the time to manage all of it.
Yes. And to those of you who will be watching this later because you're asleep right now, I love the concept. When Jen announced this, it was it got me so excited. What was it? Follow the sun? Is that the term you're using?
Right. Yeah. Follow the sun.
I just love it. Because they are literally you're going to have stuff going out all day, right? All 24 hours.
Right?
Right. Yep. Right. When the sun rises in the Pacific.
My one question to you is, at the end of 3 days of Rootstech, when I was there, I remember seeing Tara and you and Brandon all
exhausted.
And that was only 8 a whatever hour day. Now you're gonna so now what are you gonna look like? I don't even know.
Who knows? We'll have to see when we get there, right? What is nice is I think there's gonna be a little bit less physical demand. Whereas there, you're moving boxes and you're setting up booths and you're moving people, but it'll be different, but it'll be fun.
Fun. Oh, I'm so excited. Is there any other fun tidbits you want to give us about Rootstech before we continue?
Yeah, just keep an eye on our social channels. And if you're not subscribed to the Rootstech emails, go to rootstech.org. You can subscribe. We have some really fun things coming up. Like I said, a song contest. We're going to announce, a video contest in a little bit too, about how you can share videos on how you're already connecting to your family, to your heritage, to your story. So all of those things are coming. Just keep an eye, and there's going to be ways for you to get involved and share your story at Rootstech.
So cool. I am so excited. You guys knocked it out of the park. I'm just sure of it. Like, you took someone who was like, oh, it's not even going to be fun, and made me excited. So you succeeded.
Yeah,
Well, if we can make you excited.
they're phenomenal, creative, energetic, and everyone is just working really hard to make this the best it can be. So
I cannot wait. I am so excited. So,
Thanks.
okay, so we're talking about this world. Oh, wait, we want to introduce something to our participants special. We can't forget that. We wanted to invite them to start making a video of, I can't remember.
Right. Yeah, no, just however they connect. Whatever connection means to them as a family. Maybe it's a favorite family recipe that you make every Christmas, right? Or it's something you do. Create just a short video, a user generated. It doesn't have to be professional. Just tell us how you connect and belong, and that's what we're looking for some videos at Rootstech.
So our participants get a head start because they haven't announced this yet. So you guys can feel really special and start creating those videos. And then you'll notice as you're finishing your experiment, not all of you are done today, but as you're finishing it, you're going to notice that on the last page after you take the experiment, you get all these great certificates and things. On that page, we invite you to also do that. So we're going to put together a graduation video so you can use it for both Rootstech and us. So make that video, share it with us, and we're really excited to see what your fun connections are. So thank you, Tyler, for all of that great news. I am actually dying to hear from Wendy because she has such amounts of wisdom that she has. And she was talking to me earlier about some thoughts, and I loved how we're looking at doing things globally now. Like we're bringing this to the world. I'm going to let you segue.
me, Wendy?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think and Tyler, are you staying? This is so great.
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
Well, before you do it, we do have a question from Lisa.
Okay. Oh, that's a good one.
Says, will you have classes in Spanish as well as classes in how to research in countries of Spanish language nationalities?
Great question, Lisa. Thank you. And the answer is yes. And these classes will be taught by native Spanish speakers in their countries.
So cool.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Okay. And we also have a question from Tara Lynn. She says, how can we prepare for Rootstech? And what can we do to get ready and get the most out of it? Obviously, make a video, Tara, on how you connect.
Tara, she's always so ready for Rootstech.
She is.
Isn't she the one? She had the baby right before Rootstech and still watched Rootstech from the hospital. So I think
she should be giving us the tips on how to get ready, right?
Just honestly, keep an eye on rootstech.org, and there's going to be more information coming there.
Okay, sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think if I were to jump in and say, what can you do to prepare? Invite people. This is a great time for people to experience this for free and to, no matter what there's going to be, like Tyler said, so many different languages and different types of content for so many people. So prepare by extending an invitation.
Yes, I love that. Oh, thank you. Yes. And how can we...
Okay. Now
I'm terrible at segueing.
Here's something that I also want to talk about too. And that's this idea of we're going to have an opportunity to spend time to learn about, to sort of sit in a classroom with people from all over the world. And one thing that's really helpful and this could be a preparation, is to understand and practice empathy. So I think for the last little bit, I don't know how long we have, you guys, we are going to talk a little bit about empathy. And we know empathy is this idea or concept of sitting with someone who is kind of being vulnerable or having sort of something hard in their life. And so we talk a lot about, kindness or unity or things like that. Empathy is really operationalizing those concepts. So Brene Brown talks a lot about this and has done some research, but the one definition I really like about empathy is sitting with someone in the dark instead of rushing to turn the light on to make yourself feel better. And I'm sure many of you, everyone has had an opportunity to be the recipient of empathy. And oftentimes, you know, it helps us to know what to do and what not to do. So when you think about family history and learning the stories of people who have come before, I think it helps us all have empathy for hardship, for loss, for suffering in ways that we may not experience, but we may experience a similar emotion. So to be in empathy with someone, you just have to access a similar emotion. So maybe someone had a disappointment and it might not be the same thing you've experienced, but you can be, oh yeah, okay, I've been disappointed. Also, to be in empathy is hard and it's vulnerable because you are having to access emotion. And so it's something to remind yourself that oftentimes you'll feel uncomfortable. And if you are speaking more than the person you're with, you're most likely not in empathy. And I remember learning how words or a response rarely make anyone feel better. It's just the presence. And so the types of things you can do. You want me to tell you some of the attributes?
Yes.
Okay. And these are the reason I care so much about this is I've had an opportunity in my life to experience lots of different hardships and things that have given me pause. And I'm sure as many of, you know, you have experienced too. So I come from a place of, I would say, knowing brokenness. And I'm fully acknowledging that the hardships I've experienced have facilitated me understanding how to connect with people because I've been the person that's experienced lots of disappointment and hardship without, you know, going into too much detail. And so, you know, there is so much to learn from how to sit with someone in the darkness. And so when you think about family history, we may not think about the importance of empathy, and you may be experiencing someone's story who's already passed. So it's not as if you need to comfort that person, right? But these principles can help apply regardless, and it can help grow empathy. And I guarantee you just Google search empathy. There's leadership all over the world, Fortune 500 companies talking about the importance of empathy. Tim Cook, who's the CEO of Apple, at a 2017 MIT commencement, he talked about the importance of empathy in companies that are tech, you know, related and trying to understand and connect. Empathy is critical, which is why this is important. But okay, here we go. So here's the attributes according to Teresa Wiseman, who is a nursing scholar who studied professions that people are oftentimes needing to be in empathy, like hospice workers. And so, so perspective taking, that's this idea of trying to understand someone else's situation. It's also, I'm kind of geeking out, so you guys can interrupt me, but it's kind of like theory of mind. Theory of mind is I understand that my experience is different than your experience. Right. I understand that to my 8-year-old son. I don't have an 8-year-old son, but I did. You know,
explain it to my 8-year-old son.
and you understand that his experience is different than your experience. Well, that is true in the world. And so you just, you know, remember that. That's pretty foundational. And so perspective taking, another way to think about that is walking in someone else's shoes. So you kind of have to try to set down your experience and just think, okay, this is their experience as they're sharing. Another piece that's really important and also really hard is to be in non-judgment. And the reason why we oftentimes are in judgment is, and if you think about it, it's like you're really emotionally kind of putting a wall up because you're like, well, you know, this is kind of their situation, you know, like they did something that caused this. So it means you don't have to feel. So it's a protective thing that we do.
I had never thought about it that way. Yes. But you're right. You're totally right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it allows you to step back and be like, and so imagine, if you will, whenever I have the opportunity at work to do a lot of training around empathy, is your physical body, your body language is open, your arms are extended. The minute you kind of close, and you'll find yourself doing this, right? If you get defensive. So you're perspective taking, non-judgment. You're open, you're curious, and you're curious not to necessarily satisfy. You want to know all the details, but you really want to understand their experience. And then the third and fourth attribute are to kind of listen and understand what they're saying and then communicate it back. So this is kind of communicate 101. Oh, I think I heard you say this. Is that right? Right.
Right.
Okay, so you observe and you communicate what they're feeling, and they can confirm that. And then the last attribute is one that is surprisingly difficult in today's age. And if any of you have watched like The Social Dilemma on Netflix, yes, and you understand the dopamine hits that are constantly coming in. So being present or paying attention or being mindful is like the last attribute. So you've got perspective taking, non-judgment, understand what they're communicating, repeat that to them, and then being present or paying attention. Mm-hmm. These are according to Teresa Wiseman, and Brene Brown uses those attributes all the time. And so
what was the fourth one? I'm typing it so that I can focus.
The fourth one is, and I have it like,
I have perspective taking, non-judgment, understand and communicate, and
it's to the understand another person's feelings is 3, and then 4 is to communicate that understanding of their feelings. Now, the other piece is, remember, words, like I said, rarely make someone feel better. So what does?
What does?
Makes somebody feel better. So when someone shares something with you that's raw and kind of they're vulnerable, you don't want them to feel worse after you've talked to them. So what you want to do is you want to be very intentional, and you would say things like, I don't know what to say, but thank you for sharing. I appreciate you taking the time to share your experience. How can I be useful? And so notice when you're speaking, you're making it about them. You're not saying, I had no idea. Explain to me how this happened. So you have to kind of think about it in a very outward way. How can you make it about them? And how can you say, be careful what you say, but also anyone who's on the receiving end of empathy, there's no empathy police. We give each other the benefit of the doubt. And to practice empathy is to fail because it's hard. And so you jump into this and you say, I'm going to try and I'm going to learn. And you can always circle back. You can always say, I didn't know what to say, but thank you for telling me. Do you know what the worst thing you can do is?
But I probably do.
Someone tells you something and maybe you fumble and you never say anything about it again. So you have like an extreme situation, like a death or, divorce or something. And we feel like, if we bring it up, we're going to make them feel bad. Yeah. But when you don't bring them up, they feel invisible. So
I had some friends visiting just this week, and they came in and they actually just lost their daughter in July. And immediately, because we are they're our Virginia friends, so we haven't seen them in years. And so the first thing I wanted to say was, how's Lisa? And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, never mind. She passed away. And I had this moment. And so I didn't say anything for a while, but something kept nagging me saying, talk to them about it. You know what I mean? Like I was avoiding it because I knew I couldn't ask how she was doing because she's gone. And then we had this really heartfelt conversation. And I love what you're saying, because I didn't feel like I had to say anything necessarily, but I could tell it meant something for them to be able to share with me the experience they had had. Yeah. It was heartbreaking. My eyes were watering and their eyes were watering. I mean, it's a horrible, hard difficult thing. But if you can experience it with them, then that's like, I can see how it connected us that night. Ever since then, I just felt like more empathetic.
It's brave to do what you're doing. And so when people are sharing stories in presentations or on stage and you're consuming that, you know, you can practice empathy by this idea of, I'm just going to take their perspective. I'm not going to be judgmental of their experience. And you're not in a one-on-one exchange. But as you have opportunities to interact in the different chat experiences or the classroom experiences, you know, practice those things and trying to connect on that level. And this impacts interpersonal relationships, working relationships. This impacts the way, one of my favorite examples of practicing empathy, that when I present internally, I always show the registration line at Rootstech in 2017. 2017 or 2018?
2018.
I was there.
And then this was the Wednesday that Rootstech starts. And it was like our super fans came downtown to get their registration. And they were in line for a significant amount of time. And then right next to that, I show registration line the following year. And it's been 2 years since then with 0 wait time. So they practice, you know, so much empathy. And you see companies who have what we call empathic design, right? And another example is you compare the Home Depot to the Lowe's moving boxes, and they're the exact same price, but the Lowe's moving boxes have handles, right? So they are thinking about their customer. Mm-hmm. And so you think about empathy, you think, oh, it's just something I do with like the ladies I chat with. No, it's everywhere. Yeah. And I think it facilitates, like you talked about, Olivia, really deep, meaningful connections, but it allows you just, you know, and people always say reading is another way to really understand and practice empathy, you know, reading fiction, but just accepting someone's experience as their own and holding what we would say, holding space for them and not trying to give them advice. Now, there are times you're a parent or you might be in a leadership position where you might not be in empathy when someone is sharing something with you. You might want to offer feedback. But when people always say, well, what about when I'm parenting my kids? And I said, you know, if they're sharing something with you and you feel that empathy is the best thing to do, be empathetic. You can always circle back and say, hey, and here's just a little tidbit that indicates how difficult this is. When Brene, who she travels and represents and speaks at Facebook and all these like Fortune Tech 100 whatever company, and we always ask her, can we engineer this? Can we create an algorithm that says if this then that? No, it's not. It's new. So you want to look at the person and you want to kind of respond to their body language, but you know, think about just sitting with them in the dark instead of turning the light on to feel better, because that's what we tend to want to do. Anyway.
And I love, two things. Let me put up Lisa's comment because she made it a while ago and I was excited. She said, this is extremely important as we help others research their stories. Because a lot of us, we're just getting into this. And a lot of the participants in this, even if we're newbies, we're starting to reach out to our family and find out these stories. And so it's really important because it can be traumatic. And I feel like that kind of segues. Hold on, let me remember your comments.
Yes.
So we can
this is the best book right here.
This is like a leader in this space. It didn't start with you, and it talks about inherited family trauma. So Lisa, I know I am there with you. So sorry, Olivia.
No, it's perfect. What you're saying is perfect because it's what I was going to say is in the world that we have right now. And like, we've all been stuck in pandemic mode and the world's closing in on everyone. There is so little connection in authentic and good and great ways that like people are bursting out, right? Yes.
Say, oh wait, you think this? Then you're here, right?
Yes.
You're putting them in boxes.
Yeah. And so this is so important. That's all I wanted to say.
and I think the one-on-one kinds of connections, Olivia, that you described, that's the type of stuff to invest in with people. And I think, you know, people, I don't remember who said it, but it's really hard to hate someone close up, you know? And I've had the opportunity for lots of different reasons to avoid putting people in groups and say, well, they do this. And
Yeah.
right? And it's like, no, that's individuals. Those are people who are hurt or suffering. And Lisa, as people discover these traumatic stories, you know, it's like you want to hold space with them and just listen. And it can be exhausting and hard to be in empathy, you guys. So it's a real gift to give to someone. And there's tons of resources that I can share with you. But I think when you think about ways to connect, practicing empathy is one of those paths that's going to really deepen those connections. And I think we all, like you said, we all need more connection and feeling less alone, right?
Yeah.
And if empathy will create that, like, you know, I mean, and I love that you don't have to understand it, because yeah, when I was going through cancer treatments, I remember, like, even though I'm gonna cry, holy crap, I didn't mean to, sorry, it's an emotional day. It's the end of the experiment. No, I'm just kidding. But I remember having so many people there that wanted to help, and yet feeling completely alone. And it was so hard, because it was like they couldn't understand, you know. But you're right, all it required, I remember just sitting in the car in the shower, sobbing with the water coming down, and my husband just came in and sat down on the toilet, not going to the bathroom, on the toilet, and he just sat there. And I just, like, having him in the room present with me, even though I knew he couldn't possibly comprehend what I was experiencing, was like so healing. So I love that. Like, it's principles that, like, you've experienced them, but you haven't necessarily, for me, I haven't put my finger on them. And so I love that you're bringing that to light.
Less alone. That is our goal. Less alone. And you don't have to endorse someone to have sympathy or even love for them, or empathy, not sympathy, right? You don't have to agree. You can just be there with them in that space. And so, yeah, less alone. That's our goal. And what Eric did, Olivia, is what you know, people do when they show up, is they don't know what to do, but they want to show up. And there's times that there's more extreme situations, and there's times where it's less extreme. And so the idea is just to practice, you guys, just to practice empathy, just to put yourself in that place where you're like, I'm going to try this, and then learn from it. And don't beat yourself up. Just say, good job. I showed up. I tried. I didn't turn the light on. I didn't say, this is classic, by the way, and it's almost a joke internally. Usually empathy doesn't start with a response that goes, well, at least, you know, right? So
you're right.
Doing that, you're discounting their experience. And that's not what empathy is. We're not questioning, evaluating. We're just sitting. We're sitting. Anyway.
That's so powerful. And it's such a good tool for because I feel like we get that question when we were interviewing Robin. Like, that was kind of the question we asked her at the end after we went off, because we knew it was a hard question to address. And you can tell the story, Camille, like, you were more of a part of it than I was. I was just listening. But she, you know, she said that's the hard question. Like, what do you do with the difficult stories? And I feel like Wendy just answered it for us. Like, that's truth. Like, I love the application of empathy to family stories, to experiencing.
Yeah, you just listen. Yeah. And she did say there are some family stories that will do more harm than good if you retell them. But listening to those stories, I actually had an experience with that this year, where I've always heard my whole life that my great grandma hated men. Like, my dad would come in, her grandson would come in, say, hi, grandma, and go out the door and go hang out with cousins the whole trip. And we never really, like, understood why she didn't really like men. And I got her life story and was kind of reading about it. And I realized that she just didn't have a connection with her husband or with her dad, and just felt that way. And then I was like, I wonder why her husband treated her that way. You know, my great grandpa. And then I learned that his dad and mom were pregnant before they got married with him, and had to get married. And the mom blamed him for ruining her life. And then he was babysitting siblings, and his sibling passed away while he was watching him because he was really, really sick. And the mom I felt like the mom would always get back. This is my third great grandma I'm talking about, but like, I had so much empathy for him. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why they were acting this way. And it's just been crazy to find that out, and to like slowly everything starts making sense. And now I feel so connected to them, even though they didn't tell me that story. I found it out bits and pieces. I still feel connected to them. But yeah, like I don't understand that situation because I wasn't in that situation, but it makes more things make sense. I don't know. That maybe discounting
empathizing connects you to them, right?
Yes,
like empathizing connects you to them. That's so interesting. Like now that you're saying, I'm not going to share mine, but I can think of stories from my family history that I've learned that at first I was kind of mad at them for the decisions they had made.
Right.
You put us here. Ugh. You know, why did you do that? And then the more you get to know them, the more you almost forgive them. The empathy creates
forgiveness.
And you guys, one last thing is really important, and I think you honor it when you're the recipient of it. So Camille, like that, them being vulnerable, or you seeing the I said brokenness, or the weakness, if you will, or the hardship. Isn't that interesting how sharing that connects us? And we sometimes think, I'm not going to say I'm having a hard time. I'm not going to, put this out there because I want to be perceived this way. But what happens when you open that door? You have an opportunity to really connect, right? It's
So Tyler, what is going on hard in your life? Let's empathize with you.
Right.
Tyler.
Well, just my only thought is, and Wendy is a great example of this. Every time I've talked to Wendy, I remember, she'll bring it up again next time I talk. Like, how's this doing? How is she doing? So it's just that remembering, and then just being like, I learned this about this person, and I want to learn more. And I think that's the approach Wendy takes. So I've learned a lot from you, Wendy. So thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Wendy, we've all learned a lot from you. We just
learned a lot from Wendy. Will you be teaching at Rootstech?
Say that again.
Will you be teaching at Rootstech?
Oh, you guys, I'm so excited. Somebody said yes to one of my ideas.
Of course.
And we are going to be doing some really cool stuff in the story track, and really fun. Like, we're going to be talking about like some of the things that exist in that space already, which is, photo preservation and digitization and storytelling. But we're also going to talk about just fun journaling ideas and ways to share your story. And then we're going to have some conversations or panels with people talking about these types of things related to story and self. So I am so excited, Camille and Olivia and Tyler, because we're just going to have a great, we have so many ways to really connect to people, and story is one of them. So we'll probably be talking a lot about these types of things like empathy and things like that. Anyway.
I love it. I'm so excited. You guys, this was so much fun. I cannot tell you how much I love hanging out with all of you. You all make me just happy. So
my pleasure.
Thank you for joining us, you guys. Like, sincerely, are there any last words? I'm double checking to see if there's any
questions. I haven't had any questions come in.
You do not want to miss out. Let me just say that. Just sign up, follow Rootstech, like Tyler said. Stay in the know, and join the party.
Let's throw that on. Oh, we did it at the same time.
Great mind.
Yeah. So yes, join Rootstech. Okay. Well, thank you so much. We're gonna say goodbye to Wendy and Tyler really fast, and then we're gonna tell you about something to look forward to tonight. So, Camille and I have one last exciting announcement for the day, right, Camille?
Yes, I'm so excited. You guys, it's day 21.
It is day 21. Can you believe we made it? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. If you started in the middle, that's okay. Keep going. We set up our new reminders so you can continue to go. We'll go right through 1 through 21 again. So keep on working through that. And then
if you didn't do all 21 days, that's totally fine too.
Yes, absolutely. Any improvement, any increase in connections is success. So we consider that a success. You get to mark it done, take the final survey so we can count your results, and then go get your certificate of completion because it's awesome. But join us tonight without anything, like if you do nothing else, join us tonight at the after party, whether you're in the middle of the experiment or at the end. Join us at the after party. It is going to be so much fun. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to have the partners there. So you can ask them any last time questions.
You're going to have me and Olivia there?
Well, yes, that's all you need, right? And we're hopefully going to have some experiment participants join us and tell us their experiences. So come join us, participate, be with us. We love the connections, and we want to have it one last time with all of you. So join us tonight. Anything else, Carol?
What time's it at, Olivia?
7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Thank you.
Yep. So let's see, that's T minus 7 hours.
Yeah.
7 hours and 14 minutes from now.
Yes.
So start your countdown.
All right. We will see you all tonight at 7 p.m.
Yes. See you guys.